The next one is name variables. Can I ask you a question? If I asked you to go to 100 Hobson Street, would you know where to go, or you know what's there? If I had a number? You're a bit worried about this place here not having a number? I thought you guys doing the fire service would have checked that they had an address. Yeah, flames coming out. That's cool. Yeah, you can identify it. All right. So if I quoted that address, you wouldn't really know why. If I said I was at the Sky City Casino last night, would that mean something to you? You could relate to where I was. Or if I said that you're on the Harbour Bridge, you could relate to where I was. If I asked you today whereabouts are you, you'll say you're in a building with no number. I guess that's what you're going to say, is it? But you could say you're in the Institute of Accountants Conference Centre, couldn't you? And we'd all relate to that. But we don't always relate to addresses. And the same thing can happen in Excel. We can give cells a name, so we can just refer to them by name rather than reference. So let's say in an example we've got GST and we can have put a value on it and we can use it in a formula. For example, we can have GST and the formula could go H10 times GST. So let's have a look at how that could work. The first thing is we've got a cell in our model called GST and it's got a value of 1.25. Does anybody notice up here there's a little box and it's got a name in it, a number in it? Anybody know what it's called? No? It's called the name box. And if I put the mouse on it, you can see it comes up with the word name. I can type in a name. So let's just type in the word GST and go enter. Now what I've done is actually given this cell a name called GST. And let's say we've got a little exercise. We've got price over here. We've got $100 as the price, the value. Dollars. And if I want to add GST, I can go equals G4 times the word GST, and it comes up with the right answer. So I didn't need to refer to cell 4, C4, I just referred to GST. Is that a bit of a wow? Could you use that? And you might be saying, well, I can see the cell C4, so why would I bother? Let's say we go to page 2. In the middle of the spreadsheet, over here, and I put in the word price, and I put in this $100, $1,000 this time, in fact. Make it a dollar sign. If I go equals H14 times GST, and I come up with the right answer. So I didn't need to know that the cell was on a different page and a different reference. That could be useful. Pretty powerful tool. So like that analogy of saying, where's the Crown Casino? Well, I mean the Sky Casino. We all know approximately where it is, right? We can relate to that. In this case, we can relate to the cell GST. We don't need to know where it happens to be, which in this case was on that page there. Anybody use range names while I'm at it? This is going to be the biggest thing we learn today about range names. And we're going to use them later. But let's say we've got a list of fruit here, apple, bananas, and so forth. If I highlight the range, you can see in the name box it's got C10. I can go up there and give it a name. So what name would you like to give this range of fruit? You can be inventive today. Sir, would you like to give this range a name?
Yeah, I like them all.
Yeah, no, just give the name for the range. We can give it a, so we can refer to it later.
Fruity fruit.
Fruity fruit. Okay, so I have to spell it now. Fruity _ fruit, right? And if I go into my drop-down box, you can see I've now got two names, one called Fruity Fruit and one called GST. If I click on Fruity Fruit, the cursor automatically goes and highlights that range. If I go on sheet 3 and I go and say Fruity Fruit, the cursor goes back to page 1. So the first thing is it's a good way of navigating around your spreadsheet, and later on we'll be using that in our formulas. Is that a wow, or are you just sort of ho-hum?
You want us to say wow?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Wow, come on. We've got to get some wows going. Right? So the whole thing in Excel is that rather than referring to this range of fruity fruit as being a reference C10 to C15, we can just refer to it with a name called fruity fruit, and we can use that in formulas in all sorts of places. The same with the GST. It doesn't matter where we are in the model, we can refer to a cell called GST and it happens to be on the first page at C4, it doesn't matter. It's actually a hugely powerful thing to learn. And that's why that name box there, which most people have never seen before. How many, show of hands, had ever seen that name box before? not seen it. So 2 out of the group had seen it before. And it's one of those things you see every day and you just overlook it. Did you guys know? Sorry? Did you use it? No. Right. Yeah, it's right on the front page. How come you missed it? So that's how we create name variables, and we're going to use those a fair bit because you can, for example, set print areas, you can use them in formulas and so forth.